Hi, I'm Carin and this is Handstand Playtime. So this video is all about pre-kick-up practice, drills to grow your handstand practice that'll also help you get upside down for the first time. Handstands ask us to have the following things: wrist capacity, shoulders that move well and are really stable, core awareness and strength, and being upside down. Here are a bunch of drills for each. Let's start by warming up our wrists. For this practice, you will need a bolster, 2 blocks, and access to a wall. Come into a hands and knees position with your hands spread wide underneath the line of your shoulder and just start to bear weight on your hands. Swivel around and change directions to give your hands opportunities to experience load in variety. Push into your fingers. Think of your hands like plungers so that the center of your palms hug away from the floor. And then take your hands for a walk in a circle, as far in one direction as you can. Once you're there, press your fingertips into the ground, press your elbows straight, spread your shoulder blades apart, and breathe into all of that sensation. Walk your hands around in the opposite direction, again, as far as you can go. Press the fingertips down, press your elbows as straight as you can manage, press the shoulder blades apart, and breathe. Come back to a centered position and then lean your weight back towards your heels so that you have less weight on your hands. Come onto the back of the wrists. Put as much weight on your wrists as it feels good to do, and then go ahead and squeeze your hands into tight fists. Then open them up. 4 more squeezes. It's going to be really hard. Your hands are going to rebel wanting to do this, but do your best to squeeze your fists close as much as possible. Last thing, palm push-ups. Bring your hands underneath the line of your shoulders again. To make this easier, you can bring your knees closer to your hands. To make this harder, you can bring your knees away from your hands substantially. With palm push-ups, lift your thumbs up away from the ground and then peel the bottom half of your palm away from the floor. So the length of your fingers are still attached to the ground, but it's as if you're trying to peek underneath the bottom half of your palm. Even a few should feel fairly difficult. So lifting up with control and lowering down with control. Aim for about 8 of these. Try to lift and lower symmetrically. Instead of hopping away from the ground, think of pushing the ground away. And at the end of approximately 8 palm push-ups, take a moment to sit back and shake out your wrists. Next, come down into a forearm plank. Interlace your fingers, come onto your forearms, straighten your legs, and then lower down knees, thighs, hips, bellies into more of a sphinx shape. So to build awareness of our core and some strength, let's start with some roll-ups. Tuck your chin, round your way up into almost a bit of a pike position, and then reverse that spinal wave all the way down to the floor. The slower you go, the more information you can gather. So don't be in a rush to do this. We're going to go up and down 8 times altogether. That was 2. You might be able to tell that I'm exaggerating the shape of my spine as I go up and down, and that's to help feed more information about how I'm using my core in this way. Feel free to add that kind of really wavy spine aspect into this. And one more. Then level yourself out into a true plank. Hips a little bit lower than the line of the shoulders. Walk your feet a little further apart and start to swivel from outer edge, inner edge of one side to the other side. And we'll swivel this way a total of 8 times. That's 7, and that's 8. Back into a centered position. Lower down your knees, give your hands a shake. When you turn upside down, you have to constantly negotiate being upside down. And this kind of dynamic core work helps you just make corrections as you're moving. So here's another one. Come back down into that same tripod position. Reach your legs long, but this time, walk or tiptoe your way into a dolphin. Tuck your chin, press into your forearms, lift your sit bones into the air, and then walk yourself back into that forearm plank. Forward and back, 8 times. That's 3. That's 4. 5. 6. 2 more. 7. Last one. And 8. Knees on the ground. Reset. Take a little swirl of your spine. Come into a downward facing dog. Look at your hands or between your thumbs. Lower down to your forearms. Lift up to a downward dog. Leading one side at a time 4 times. That's 3. And 4. Then leading with the other side 4 times. That's 3 and 4. Lower your knees down, give yourself a wiggle and a hug. It's spicy shoulder work. So wrists, shoulders, let's look at some core work. For this, have your block handy for the next part. If you lie down on the ground and assume kind of like a neutral spine position, you'll have natural curves in your back. In particular, you may be able to slide your hands underneath the space behind your low back. When you're upside down, you're navigating or negotiating some pretty big bony structures. Your pelvis, your ribs, and your shoulders. And the relationship between these 3 and your ability to control them in relation to each other will help you balance upside down. So to help train this and to help build strength in your core, we can do reverse leg lifts. So as you lie down, take a moment to press your low back into the ground and eliminate that inward curve, to let your ribs be heavy and to press them into the ground, to lay your shoulders on the floor, and then lift your legs up into the air. The objective of this is to switch our legs in space, but to maintain good contact with the back line of the body. An easier version of this is arms by your sides. A harder version of this is arms overhead, or even hands in the direction of the top of your practice area. I'm going to choose this version. Lower one leg at a time. As it comes up, switch it for the other. And you guessed it, 8 times all together. Nice and slow to build information. That's 2. Keep working to smush that low back into the floor. And by doing that, you're going to create a relationship at the front of the body where your hip points and your rib points are staying closer to each other. Two more. Last one. Hug your knees to your chest, give a little bit of a release side to side, and then bring yourself up to sitting, but grab a block. Working with that same kind of an idea, lie back and eliminate the curve of your low back. Let your ribs be heavy. Keep your knees bent this time, and hold a block between your palms overhead. Give it a squeeze. So as the arms go overhead, we tend to lose the position or relationship between our pelvis and our ribs. To help train this, we can do overhead pulls. So keeping the back body in good contact with the ground, elbows straight, squeezing the block, lower it down close to the floor without losing that back body contact. And then sweep it or lever it all the way back in the direction of your knees, 8 times. As your arms move overhead towards the floor, you will need to work harder to keep that rib and pelvis position. Four more. Option to float your legs. And last one. Release, block to the side, bring yourself back up to sitting. I want to look at that relationship again, but from a different point of view. So instead of our spine working with gravity where we are face up, we're going to go face down. For this, you will need 2 blocks. Lie down on your front body and place one of the blocks between your feet. Stretch the legs, squeeze the block, and try to direct that block down towards the floor. On the opposite end of the body, squeeze the block between your hands, extend your arms, move your head towards the floor so your nose is touching the ground, and have a moment of just pressing down as if you're trying to move both blocks into the floor beneath you. And what you may feel is that same kind of engagement of rib points and hip points at the front of the body hugging towards each other. To add the shoulders in, lift the block. Let's hold this for a count of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. We're going to do this 3 times. I invite you to really wrap your tail and almost try to get a bit of a space between your hip points in the floor or your low belly so that you're very strongly holding that rib and hip position. Here's the second round. Face down, squeezing blocks. Lift as high as you can with straight arms for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. If you think about this in terms of being upside down, so if I just took myself and rotated 90 degrees, this is a handstand. And I'm lining up my shoulders, my rib position, my pelvis position, and my legs are straight. Third round. Squeeze the block, head down, a bit of a hollow hold through the abdomen, and lift. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Hands by your side. Bring yourself up to a hands and knees position. Give yourself a good wiggle. And let's move these blocks out of the way. Here's where your wall comes into play. Again, trying to help build a vocabulary and an internal appreciation of rib position, hip position, and shoulder position. Bring yourself into a downward dog with your fingertips very close to the baseboard. Walk your feet in towards the wall. Push your hands down into the ground. Keep your elbows straight. Tuck your chin and attempt to bring your upper back to the wall. You might even be able to do so to the point where you can take your hands away from the floor, but I'll leave that up to you. Walk yourself back into a downward facing dog. And just like every other drill, 8 altogether. That's 2. Don't forget to tuck your head. That's 3. When we are upside down, it is very advantageous if we have straight arms. We want to keep our head away from the floor. So press your fingertips into the ground continuously as you're doing this drill and work to keep those elbows as straight as possible. Last two. Last one. Lower down. Bring your bolster into play. The bolster can line up vertically against the wall. This is simply kind of like a encouragement. It's just there to cushion in case your head moves closer to the wall. Have it there just as a fail-safe. You, however, should move further away from the wall. Walk one foot in, have the other leg free, and swing it in space. While you're doing this, put a lot of effort into how your hands are behaving on the ground. Fingertips down, plunger effect on the center of the palms, elbows straight, gaze lifted slightly up between your thumbs. And then switch over to the other side. Eventually, this levering leg will lend a hop and be the thing that propels you upside down. For now, we're going to do a little playful switch kick exercise. Go back to the first side. Left foot slightly in, levering that right leg up and down. Swing it so much that the left foot temporarily leaves the floor. Try that again. It can be a little hop, it can be a big hop. Just keep your elbows straight and plug your fingers down. That's 4 on that side. Let's do 4 on the other side. And a hop. And a hop. 2 more. And last one. Lower down, give yourself a hug. And the very last thing, push our bolster off to the side and use the wall to assist us in inverting. You could take your blocks, create a pedestal for yourself so that you have something to step onto. Bring yourself into a hands and knees position. Lift yourself up into a downward dog. Plug into your fingers, plunger your palms, press your arms straight, bulk up your shoulders a bit. Walk your feet onto the blocks. Press one foot into the wall. Other foot, look at the wall and just spend a little bit of time upside down. Whether your legs are bent or straight, let the objective of this be just getting used to being inverted. Take another breath here. And then with control, lower all the way down. Separate your knees, lower down into a child's pose. Let your forehead be heavy. If you want support under your head, you can steal one of those blocks. Just giving yourself a chance to downregulate after all that spiciness. And then slowly recovering back up to sitting. So that is our pre-kick up to handstand playtime.